Hello guys, my name is Dr. Varun and you are watching Chlorophyll classes only on YouTube. Here I am back with another video for 12th class students, and currently what we are doing, we are studying about the evolution. In the last video we were talking about the evidences of evolution. This is the continuation of certain more evidences which we need to discuss and understand. The next evidence is the embryological evidences. In embryological evidences, think about yourself. What evidences we can have it? Whenever we are studying evolution kind of topic, we are not talking about from a one species perspective. We are seeing from the other species, because what's the basic need we are doing it over here is that we are able to make understanding that since we have a theory called where we said that from a single ancestor all the other life form comes, so how closely from them ancestor, how far off we have reached. Okay, it's just like a movie. Like in a movie, how far we have reached to the ending of the movie. Okay, so that thing is over here. So this is what we are doing, a comparative study of the embryo of different vertebrates. We are not doing with the other ones, but with the vertebrates. First is the homology in the development. When I'm saying that development means what, that how there is a male and a female gamete, they meet and they form what, zygote. So we know that there is a zygote which is a unicellular organism. Then it is what, morula, blastula, gastrula, this kind of structure forms. This indicates that these structures are similar in them, and as they are similar in them, we even have to understand the thing that they will look like what, they will look similar in all of them, like in humans also, in which belongs to mammals, in amphibians, frog also, everyone will go through with the same kind of development phase, and it indicates that all of multicellular organisms are what, they are closely related to each other. Moving on, homology in the embryo. So the embryo of a, when they were doing understanding this whole thing, then there was what, we took an embryo of a chick, which is your hen, fish, frog and lizard. We found that they had what, similar kind of a structures. So if you remember from your 11th class, you might have studied animal kingdom, and there is a systematic representation of the plan in a chordates, how a chordates look like. So over there is what, post anal tail, there is gill slits, so certain things like this is there. So here also these embryos of them, like chick, fish, frog and lizard, they will what, they undergo similar kind of development pattern. And when you see that there is a similar kind of development pattern, as they keep on going towards the adults of their respective, their structure will change, but initially it will be similar, very much similar. Okay, so zygote till gastrula is very much indistinguishable from seeing outside, right? And from next certain in the initial stages of the fetus development until the limbs are developed, they look little similar only to one another. Then we see from the other than the vertebrates, we go to the resemblance in the invertebrates larva, which do not have vertebral column. Then we have Annelida and Mollusca, which has a similar type of larva, that is trochosphere larva. You might have studied in the animal kingdom. And larva of echinoderm and hemichordata is also similar, that is diplura larva. Both in their cases, since these are very closely related phylum, that's why when we were studying in the chronological order, we first said that Annelida, from Annelida there was what, arthropoda, and then the mollusca. Annelida and mollusca is sharing features, which means what, from Annelida these two different diversifications could have came. Okay, something like that. Same echinodermata and hemichordata. In the chronological order, we first study echinodermata and then the hemichordata. And if its larva is same, so maybe what happened, the larva, certain mutation could have taken place, or certain adaptive radiations from the larva itself, a new different variety of hemichordata that might have been formed in the past, okay, by the evolutionary trend. So when the larva is same, it even tells us that they both might have a common origin also, that from one larva, these two different things might have propagated out into the different directions according to their requirement. Then progressive metamorphosis. It means what, certain organisms larva is much more advanced than its and resembling to the next higher form of the in the hierarchy of the taxonomical hierarchy. Okay, so larva is more developed. Like for example, the amnioset larva of the lamprey resembles the adult of the branchiostoma, that is Amphioxus. Okay, in many detail, which indicates that the lamprey have evolved from the Amphioxus like organism. Same thing which I was explaining here also, this was also there. Then we have retrogressive metamorphosis. Retro means going back into the time. Okay, and metamorphosis means change. Sometimes what happens, the larva is very much advanced, but its adult form becomes very primitive compared to its larval form. Okay, means when they evolve, okay, means just if you have watched Pokemon, so Pokemon used to evolve and becomes a bigger version. But imagine that a Pokemon is evolving into something totally different. Then we will say what? We will say that it is not a progressive kind of a evolution. It is what? A retrogressive, or there are certain organs which have been degenerated in them, seen in case of tunicates and saculina. So in Herdimania or tunicates, what that happened, their larva has what? More chordates like characters, but its adult form has non-chordates characters present. Okay, so like notochord and all chord is also gone, tail is also gone, they become sessile. Okay, so these things are, so means they are what? The larva is more advanced compared to its adult form. Then there is the presence of certain temporary structures. Okay, so organisms might have a temporary structures presence, which indicates that from where they have come, but since in them they are of no use, so they just lost it. Example is the presence of the tooth bursts. What are the tooth bursts? You know that our teeth has to come out. Okay, we all know that children grow another set of teeth. Okay, we all had two sets of the teeth. Teeth comes from something. What it is? That is a tooth bud from where the teeth come. Now these tooth buds will only be present in the organism where teeth will be there. And if we see, birds don't have teeth, but they had a tooth bud present. Of course, over the period of a time, when they will finally comes out from the yolk sac, those tooth buds, gill slits, they will disappear after the hatching. But before hatching, they will be present, which even justified that they have comes from the ancestors which have tooth presence. And from here, their linkage with the reptiles has been established. Understood? Let's just go to the next thing. That is development of the vertebrate organs. Now what happened in this case, we will be seeing that how from one organism to other organism, the development phases of an organ which becomes more complex over the period of a time. Here we have studied about the homologous organ also with respect to brain and the heart. You know that in case of heart, what happened? We have fishes with two-chambered heart. Then an extra septa has been formed and it becomes a three-chambered heart. Then it becomes four-chambered heart. So this thing has been told. So this is also what? Evolution. Same goes with the brain. The brain arises from what? Neural duct which has been formed. From here different organs forms. If you know that certain organisms, like if you have studied about the frog has few less number of brain parts. Inside brain there are parts. Na? Of course there is midbrain, hindbrain and the forebrain. Inside it certain parts are there. Na? Like our brain, there are brain and the amphibian brains. R is having more parts, more developed. Okay, so that happens. So it is said that as you're going hierarchy, like upper in the hierarchy of the organisms, you becomes more complex, the organs becomes more complex and it develops the more structures inside it. Then the kidneys. If we see the kidneys of the organism, the fishes has pronephric kidneys, not the fishes, even the, what we say that this other than the these are cyclostomes and all, they have pronephric kidneys which are a primitive kidneys. Then we have mesonephric kidneys which are better than the pronephric country, which are present in the fishes, amphibians, and metanephric kidneys are what we seen in the reptiles, birds and the mammals. So this tells us what? That even in the embryo of human, our kidney development is like first we will form the pronephric kidneys, then it will develop into mesonephric kidneys and the metanephric kidneys which are currently we have, and then our body will be delivered out. So the 9-month time period in which the baby is in the mother womb, what it is doing? It is doing making a whole history to go through this. And this thing has been come up with another word that is called as that the embryo is going through all the history of his ancestor from where we have evolved from, which means what, that as the embryo is going for pronephrecently, mesonephrecently, metanephrecently, means it is repeating his history, okay, whatever it is. So for this a theory was given, that is biogenetic law or the recapitulating theory, where our embryo is recapitulating the information of his ancestral from where it comes from, and this is given by the Ernest Haeckel. Of course, this has been disapproved at a certain levels by a lot of scientists, and that is name is given in NCERT, which you will let me know in the comment section. Even if no one has commented yet, why don't you comment it? Okay, be the first one. Okay, then comes what he said, that ontogeny repeats phylogeny. Ontogeny means the like history of the organism, that this is where it belongs to, so it will go through with that whole process. Phylogeny means the ancestral evolutionary history of the organism. That evolutionary history means whatever has been happened in the past, in its past form, that will take place. Past form means ancestral form. Okay, so here what are they, that in humans, if we see that, okay, I have already given you the example with respect to the kidneys, but other examples like their structures like dorsal tube, dorsal tubular nerve cord, dorsal tubular, why I'm writing it up? Dorsal tubular nerve cord, notochord, series of the gill slits represent the fundamental feature of the chordates, which you see in them. Even there you will see what, two chambered heart, then the septa will form, becomes four chambered heart, mesonephric kidney, and all of these things will happen. Even if you see that during the 7th month of the development, human embryo resembles the baby of ape because it is covered with the hairs. So we say that it comes from the ape, so it's repeating its history, and development of the human embryo, that is ontogeny, repeats the ontogeny is what, like history of the organisms, repeats the history, phylogeny of the race, how it basically comes from its ancestral form. So it is even established that we comes from fishes like ancestors, which have been developed further. Same goes with the fishes. Fish-like character like gills, tails, lateral line sensory system in the tadpole of larva of frog present, but indicates that the frog comes from what, fishes. Okay, they developed and forms what, amphibians, that is the adult form of frog. Then comes to the plants, very important, which can be come to your board examination as well as in the NEET 2026 definitely. That is protonema stage in the development of ferns of the mosses, gametophytes. What is this? If you remember the plant kingdom chapter, in plant kingdom chapter there are the bryophytes you might have studied. In bryophytes we have studied mosses and the liverworts. In the mosses you have studied the protonema stage is there, which is a stage of developments once the spores will develop into the sporophyte, and the sporophyte will make the when the spores will develop from this capsule in the sporophyte, then what will happen, these spores will germinate into what, gametophyte. The first stage would be what, protonema stage, then the leafy stage will be there. So that protonema stage we are talking about. So this protonema stage, it is a green filamentous algae structure philosophically and the growth pattern. So it resembles with what, algae kind of a structure, and it indicates what, that the bryophytes has an algal ancestry. Same pteridophytes, of course pteridophytes are the better version of them, but their coming up is from the algal because of their way they have been shown. Same goes with the gymnosperms. They do not need any water for their fertilizations. So first pure true plants, land plants they are called as, they don't terrestrial plants call it, I'm sorry. That is okay. You are also sleepy? No, we are not sleepy because it's evolution. Okay, coming back. So, but the primitive gymnosperms like cycas and the ginkgo, they have flagellated sperms and they use the water for their fertilization, which tells us what? It tells us that they have comes from what? But gymnosperms has come from the bryophytes only or pteridophytes only. Okay, so indicates that they have the bryophytes like ancestor. And if you remember from the first day lecture on this topic, you know that the first part tells us what? It tells us the brief account of evolution, that which comes from what. So this thing is just giving up the example over there in the bioencapsulation theory. After that, the next is the biogeographical evidences. These are the evidences of the fauna or the organisms which are present at a particular location only. Like for example, the red pandas, they are present in the Himalayan region only. Okay, let's go to the more. If you see that certain types of organisms are seen in certain area only, like for example kangaroos you will see only and only in the little bit New Zealand, more in the Australia only. So this is what, how come they are present in the one area only, and how that will help us to know about the evolution. Let's try to understand. So earlier, this biogeographical evidences tell the distribution of the plant and the animals on the planet Earth. Earlier, million of years ago, we do not have these different continents. Currently we have what? We have Asia, Europe, Australia, Africa, North America, South America, and the Antarctica, right? They were not this far off, they were together present. So if you sometime will try, then you can easily fit all these parts of the earth surfaces, which you see the crust area, into a one terrestrial area, into one giant structure, and that giant structure was Pangea. But over the period of a time, these plates which are present, they keep on shaking and take it away. You might have studied this whole story in your geography also, so it's just the repetition of that only. So all of them goes together and far off. Now just think that if earlier everything was together, means all the organism would be present over here, right? But now they have been splitted away. As they have been splitted away, what happened? There will be certain organism left here, certain left here. So with this, what happened? This story that whether actually there, because me, you, no one was there when this thing was happening, right? Humans were not there on the planet Earth. How do we know that? We know that from this only, that earlier the Earth was just had a single crust, and the name was Pangea. Due to geographical changes, the huge landmass breaks off and forms the different landmass far away from the single structure. Sea acted as a barrier, and this barrier did what? It did a lot of things. This thing is very important. Now think yourself that you and your twin brother is there, and in the classical Indian movie scenario, what happened? They got separated during the time of birth. One live in the rich environment, one live in the poor rural areas. Okay, now their understanding would be so different, right? The one will have a different understanding, the other will have a different understanding for the world and things. They will grow different, they will look different, because they will wear clothes different. So what happened? Within the one time only, we can see that if we separate two similar looking people also, it will change their habit, right? Same goes with these animals, that once they are separated, we can see that how differently they evolve and how differently they form. And on that basis, different types of evolution come up, what we have seen. That is what we're going to be studying into different headings over here. Now it is what Alfred Russel Wallace, he divided the world into 6 biogeographical realms, in which India was the part of the Oriental realm. Just remember it, not more than that. Just remember the 6 different realms were there, means area, regions were there on the planet Earth, right? So they just put it like this is Australia goes to this, North America this realm. Okay, this is just another fancy word for the continent. Okay, now he did this. Now he sees certain things over here. What he see? There is a discontinuous distribution of closely related species. How we will remember it? You know that there are dinosaurs present on the India also. You be like, you sir, dinosaur in India? I'm like, yeah, it is there. How it is there? So you, if you want to go and see the dinosaur fossils in India, we are getting till now also. But if you want to actually see this, there are the museums, dinosaur museums in the Madhya Pradesh area, where you can go. Definitely one day I also wanted to go there and experience that. I will definitely make a video if they let me allow that. I don't know why the government is not focusing on these kind of educational things, which could be a really great understanding, because what a dinosaur I have seen is from the Hollywood movies only. Especially one movie I have seen, that Night in the Museum. I don't know whether you guys have watched it or not. It's a very amazing movie. It's has multiple parts. I have watched the first part only of it, and you can watch it. Okay, so but yeah, that's the thing. Like dinosaurs were there, so the dinosaurs fossils which were found in India, and till now it's been founding. If we excavate more, of course, that kind of archaeological things we are not doing at all. So those things, dinosaurs, were similar fossils like the one present in Africa or Madagascar area, which tells us what? That we were joined with what? African continent. Okay, so our race has what? African continent from there only, right? So this thing comes as a major important things, and this is only tells with the one example, that is lungfishes. There are only three survival genre of the lungfishes. One is the Australian lungfishes, African lungfishes, and South American lungfish. Which means what? These fishes are those which has lungs present inside it, right? Over the course of development, they will eventually going to be developing into the amphibians, right? So what happened to these fishes, since they are, one is Australia, they see in the map where is Australia. Okay, let me just show you in a map itself this thing. World map image. Okay, everyone might have seen this map, na? See over here. See where is Australia? Just at the corner. Okay, Australia is here. Meanwhile, where is the South America? Just opposite corner of it. Just opposite of it, South America is there, where you see Brazil and all those things. And where is the Africa? In the center. So it tells us what? It tells us that we all these things are so far off. How come the lungfishes are not present in between the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean? Why it is present at close to these regions only? Because earlier these regions were kept together. That's why they are being shown over there. Okay. Coming back, this is the one distribution thing. So it has been explained how a lot. It has been explained like that Australia, Africa, and South America and Antarctica was connected. Later they got separated. Antarctica shifted to far off places, and lungfishes are restricted to only these three places: Australia, South America, and the Africa. Okay. Then the alligators are there. Alligators are seen only Southeastern America or the Eastern China. Okay, alligator is what? Close relative of the crocodiles. Okay, then we have camels. Camels close relative is the llama. Llama you might have seen, na? That cute llamas you might have seen. So the nearest relative ally of the camel is the llama, and it is seen in the South America. Rest camels are seen what? In the deserted regions of the Middle Eastern and the India and the Pakistan area, right? Then we have elephants. Elephants are found in the India, Africa, but does not occur in any place even with the identical climate in the Brazil. So Brazil also didn't have that. Okay, but it is present in India and Africa. What could be the possible reason? That could be the limited or the restricted geographical presence over of them. Okay. Then Africa and India, you know that they are earlier being connected, so that's why they are present there and keep on flourishing in between the regions. Then we have the restricted distributions. When I'm saying the restricted distribution, means that certain species, they are present in only one particular region only. Like for example, egg-laying mammals like your echidna or the platypus. So platypus perry from the Phineas of Ferb. If you have watched that cartoon, let me know in the comment section. Okay, I don't know why I come up with all of these things. All my learning is from the cartoon or what? Pokemon and all those things. Okay, I watched a lot of them. I know that. I don't know how come I become a teacher with watching so much of cartoons and things. Okay, coming up to this. So these are called as monotremes and the marsupials. Marsupials are the pouch animals. Okay, means your kangaroos, koala, all of them have got a pouch present in which they keep their young ones so that it can survive over there. Okay. Now earlier, like what is the reason for their restricted presence? Okay, so it is said that earlier everything was together and then they are drifted apart. As they drifted apart, what happened? That certain region becomes very restricted. Like for example, Australia, New Zealand, they are not connected by any land area with the Asia or with any of the part, right? Same if we see that earlier these animals were present in the South America also, but South America has a connection with the North America. Now in the North America, in the Asia, there will be present, means the upper part of your, upper part of your map, north part has the placental mammals. Placental mammals attacks these marsupials. Okay, but now the connection is between North and South America, right? So over there, they mask them, or they just fought with them, and they just like put that like tissue and remove all the marsupials from the South America land. and it has been overtaken by what? By the placental mammals, which is currently, we are also placental mammals because we have placenta, right? But when we see towards these like this or Madagascar, Madagascar do not have any connection with Africa. Same, the Australia, New Zealand do not have any connection with the Asia. So their North American placental mammals not able to reach there because of the sea boundary present over there. So they are able to survive. That's why they have the limited presence over there. And the very interesting story is about the Madagascar. If you have seen the photos of Madagascar, it's look like all the animals are very different, looks like alien to us. And why it is like that? Because they do not have any land connection. They have such a kind of plants which are so different and not present anywhere else, because the Madagascar island is totally drifted apart and has a barrier of water, no change. These animals just able to evolve the way they want it to be. Isn't that beautiful? This whole thing has been told over here. Okay, then we have the deserts of America possess cacti, but African desert has euphorbias, totally different types of cactus kind of a plants, okay, which we used to say. Then we have dud double coconuts, which is seen in case of island of Seychelles. It is also called as love nut or the sea coconut because of its structure. It's very big, two coconut kind of a thing there. But isn't it so weird and amusement in itself? Okay, right? Coming up to the next thing. Like, okay, nature is doing this thing. What about humans? Humans are not even less. They also want to become the god. And here comes the artificial selection. What is artificial selection? Means this is the way of selecting a particular organism or a type of organisms and want to make it what more into the environment. And that we have done it with our crops. So even there are certain people who are making certain cringe content on the social media that earlier banana used to be like this with the seeds inside it. Now we have made it like this. Earlier this was like this. Now we have made it like this. So we have played with the genetics of the environment. No, we have done it with the naturally and artificially only. We have not made or did any extra gene thing into it. We just cultivated the good thing out of it. So we didn't, of course, we have removed the wild variety, so we definitely have reduces the presence of gene frequency. That we will understand what it is there, but let's not go directly into that. Let's just come back. So artificial selection is what? It is what certain alleles of organisms better adapted to the environment, making it successful to survive and the reproduced. Okay, we choose that gene and this is called selection. Now, this selected things will be exercised by man. So it is what? Artificial, man-made kind of a thing. And according to our interest, economic interest, okay? Then, for example, if we want the cow to give more milk, how we will get it? So we will take a calf from a cow which gives high yield. So we have a male calf whose mother is high yielding. So these genes will be there in the son also, right? The baby calf. And we will take a female again from a female mother, like the daughter from a mother of cow which is high yielding. So definitely high yielding will be present, and then we will mate them. So means we are finding the perfect match for the alliance. Same what our parents do. But here it comes now, like always remember, more the different genes, more variety would be there. Here it will be what? Maybe there are higher chances that the genes for this will come up in the subsequential generation. Same goes with production of high yield crops. Okay, we take those crops which are good for us, like the Mendel experiment, very concised experiment. Production of the large number of egg by the hens, we choosing only those hens, you know, the same drill like the cow one example I have given. Then the generation of cauliflower, broccoli, kale from the wild mustard. On this I am definitely coming up with the video, a short video on this content. Okay, so you must wait for it, how that happens. And even the different varieties of dogs is the artificial selection which we have done. This is the artificial selection. Now the question is that, okay, we humans with a limited resource, limited time period, if we are able to do this, isn't the nature with the unlimited time, unlimited resources would not have done it? Of course, the nature has also done this natural selection. Examples are there. Number one example is industrial mannerism. What happened that in the England, okay, this thing has been seen in the England. There are two different types of moth. Okay, the moth is the Biston Bituleria, One is the light form, white color, other is the black color. Okay, so the black color is carbonica. And at that time, since the pollution was not there, and you know that when the pollution won't be there, which organism will survive? Lichens will survive. Those lichens, what they did is they are white in color. Okay, little bit greenish tincture is there, but white in color. Okay, as they are white in color, so just think that a white moth set on it or the black moth set on, like the bark, the lichens are present on the bark of the tree, on the rocks and everywhere, right? So the lichens, as they were present on these barks or on the rocks, as these moth go and set on them, what happened? The white background, this blue color is seeing more or the white color is seeing more? Simple thing, the darker color will be seen more. This is the black color. See how well it is being shown. But white color, how less or camouflaging thing it will do. Okay, white on white will do camouflage. Like for example, this black color is my black moth and this is my white moth. Think that the white color is shown more or the black color of hair shown more. Of course, black color hair is shown more. So what happened? These black moths will be easily identified by the birds and birds will come and eat it. Okay, what will happen during that time? Okay, when the lichens were there, the population of black moth will be significantly lower. So they have to hide it, protect themselves from getting spotted by the predators. But white moth easily camouflage. But then comes Britishers and their industrial revolution. Okay, means to mess up the earth, right? So they did what? They put the industry release lot of pollution in the environment, and that pollution will do what? It will kill the lichen, because lichens can only grow into what? Pollution free environment. Lichens die, all the plant parts or the rocks would be what? Darker in color. Now what will happen? When the white color and the black color goes and sit on the dark color thing, what will happen? The white will be more visible, right? More visible, right? Now the white color will be identified and eaten up by the birds. And after this industrial revolution, what happened? The white color moth population significantly decreased and the black color population increases. So what happened? Nature selected a particular kind of organism, we say that, to survive in that area, but no one is totally being wiped off in either of the time. Okay, moving on to the next, that is the antibiotic resistant bacteria. So what happened? For example, if a bacteria population is there, inside that bacteria population, some of the bacteria has a mutation that they do not die, even the antibiotic means medicine is given to it, right? Nothing is happening, both are surviving. Then what happens? Suddenly the environment comes where in the environment, like the pollution came, same in the environment comes. What happened? There is that drug, antibiotic start releasing. What will happen? All the ones which do not have the resistant gene for the antibiotic will die, whereas the which have the antibiotic resistance genes, they will survive. Those that will survive, they will grow. So means sensitive will die and the resistance will survive. Same thing over here, the ones like the are moth example. Then come resistance of insects to the insecticides. Same thing. Like there are certain insects who are sensitive, like most of the insects are sensitive to the pesticide. So if you put the pesticide, they will die. But certain of the insects have what? Mutation present in the gene and they can survive with the DDTC. So if you're putting the mosquito with that hit and all, they are like enjoying. They are not dying. Like cockroaches, you are putting that hit on the cockroach, but the cockroach is like shower. We will not die. And they will survive. Okay, you might have seen that. Why they are able to survive that? Because they have the antibiotic resistant or the pesticide resistant gene present in them. Now they will do what? They will reproduce and they will increase their population. And now in the environment, we have what? We have pesticide, DDTC resistant organisms or the insects present. Understood this thing? So this is what two examples given on that. With this, we come to know that evolution is also a random process. Okay, who will survive? We don't know. Which gene will survive? We don't know. Okay, and it's based on the chance event of the nature, whether the nature will provide us with that situation. or the chance mutation in the organism also. What if all of these examples which we have studied, like for example the mosquito, no mosquito has that gene present or that kind of mutation present, then all of the mosquito species will have been khalas, done. Okay, but they survived because of what? Presence of mutation and the event of nature, chance event of the nature, where nature actually exposed to them with what? DDT or the other pesticides. I hope this thing is understood. If not, let me know in the comment section. I will explain you in the real in more interactive way possible. Okay, coming up to the next thing, that is the adaptive radiation. What is adaptive radiation? It is also called as divergent evolution. What is divergent evolution? We remember from the homologous organ that homologous organ is the example of divergent evolution, where a common ancestor migrated to different kind of habit according to its need. Same thing happens over there. Who give this adaptive radiation? This was Charles Darwin gave it. So what happened? Charles Darwin was a great traveler like me, and he used to travel a lot. So if you don't know, I do travel. You might see on my Instagram, whose ID I don't know whether you will be able to find it or not, but I travels a lot. So he went on a voyage, that is a travel trip, in his ship, okay, Her Majesty's ship, and he reached from America to close to group of island, that is Galapagos Islands, which are 22 islands group. We call it Galapagos Island. And over there he was like there, nice biodiversity. When I'm saying that, means how nice organisms present over there. But his attention was caught by certain birds. You see, like this birds look like this. He made a drawing. Next he's like, this is the same bird, but its beak is different. He made another. So this way he found so many different variety of birds. What are those? These are the variety of birds. Vegetarian, large insectivore, small, woodpecker, warble, cactus, ground, sharp beak, short seed, medium seed, large seed eating. They saw that the birds are same, their beaks are little different, and they are eating something different. Means they are not same, their eating habits are not same, they are different from each other. Means these are different varieties or the different species of a common ancestor, which was what? Seed eating. But just think yourself, if they all will eat seed, when they will be growing, there will be large population, seeds number will be limited. So some of them said that, okay, I won't eat seed. Like at home, what happens sometimes, like for example, your amma made rasam rice and also made chapati. Okay, so you all said that we will eat chapati, we will eat chapati. Okay, but the chapati are only 3 and you siblings are 4. So what will happen? 3 of them will get one chapati, and the one person will left out will get what? Had to eat rice. Same thing over here. So they change their foraging pattern, and that's how they becomes fruit eater, insect eater, cactus eater, seed eater. And according to their finch has been also changed up, and as these finch change up, means their bill, finch means not bill, finch is the word, okay, beak also changed. As the beak changed up, they form different types of variety over there, and this is called as what? From single, so many different variety emerged from it. So this is called as what? According to adaptation, they radiate into different directions, okay, and they forms different species over the course of a time. But these finches were what? Similar to the continent one, but much different than that. Why they are able to survive and diversify into such a different variety? 2 reasons. Able to diversify because able to evolve, right? Because there is no connection with the mainland. Plus the island has a limited resources, so they have to survive their species, so they change themselves to survive accordingly. Then comes the Australian marsupials. Australian marsupials are what? These are the pouched mammals which are present, okay. They forms different variety from the common ancestor to survive their habitat. So these are the all of them. So means your koala, okay, your kangaroos, your marsupial moles, Tasmanian wolf cat, and all those things, Tasmanian tiger, they form from what? One common ancestor, which was the pouched mammal. Later, locomotion in mammals also shows the adaptive radiations, which we have even done it in the forelimb of the homologous organs, okay, in the forelimbs of the bats, cheetah and all those things. This is also giving the same example over here, that how they changed themselves into a different way for the locomotion. We have studied about the adaptive radiation. Now the adaptive convergence, coming closer together, which we have studied about what? Analogous organs. So here what happened, it is a development of a similar adaptive functional structures in an unrelated species which are far off from each other. So for example, placental mammals and the marsupial mammals. Marsupial mammals means present in the Australia and the New Zealand, and the placental mammal in the rest of the places on the planet Earth. Their structure and their habit, both of them were similar. Like for example, burrowing, meaning digging the soil, is seen in the placental mole as well as in the marsupial moles. Tells about the common ancestry. They are being closely coming together in their function. Anteater and the numbat, which is also a anteater, they are what? They dig it and eat the ant. Then bobcat and the Tasmanian tiger cat, they are cat-like carnivorous. Okay. Then mouse and the marsupial mouse, they are the small rodent like the mouse present in the household, right? Then placental wolf and the Tasmanian wolves, they are dog-like carnivorous animal which is present over there. So it also tells us what? When the convergent evolution is taken in a closely related species, like this is nice. This we understand that a convergent evolution is taking, but there is a parallel evolution is also taking place where a closely related species having what? Having the same kind of evolution taking place. Like for example, in the goat and in the horse, how their thumb, like toes are being changed. We call it splints. Okay, how their splints are being formed. So there are similar kind of changes were taking place in the goats and the horses. So there it is called as parallel evolution also. With this, the evidences of evolution is over. So till now what we have done, we have seen that what is the evolution, how to study from the initiation to till date, okay, in the first video. Then we studied about the, okay, if the evolution has taken place, how do we able to find it out that evolution took place. So these are the evidences of evolution, second part of the chapter that we have done it. After this, we will be going towards the what are the theories of the evolution. So next, in your next class, we're going to be studying about the theories of evolution and finding it with the help of some mathematical calculations, that is Hardy-Weinberg principle. We are left out with the 3 topics only in the chapter, which will be completed by this weekend itself. I hope you are liking this video. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends. Your doubts, I take it on the Instagram, so you can come up with any doubts that you want, that you will find it on my Instagram. Directly you can DM, that is chlorophyll_classes, and I give one-on-one mentorship also. If you want, you can buy that also, which is not very expensive, just at the cost of your neighborhood Anna or sir or ma'am. So you can ask about that as well on my Instagram. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, because sharing is caring and this chapter is little tough. So we need a help, we need to ask. So you can ask any questions on my Instagram DM. With that, everything is over. If you are going without following and subscribing me, I mind you, do it now. Okay, so thank you, bye.